All right, everybody, it's 9 o'clock. Let's go ahead and get started. Can you pop me down just here? All righty. Well, here we are. It's January. I only vaguely remember a year ago where I did this for the first time, and I still haven't figured out what I'm doing, so there we go. A year later. Glad everyone could make it. The traffic, the weather was icky, so I'm very happy that we have as many people show up that could do it, given, again, the weather and everything like that. So this will be a little bit of a short meeting, and it's a little more, I don't want to say strategically driven, but we're going to kind of just look at some stuff, big picture stuff, what we've done, what we kind of hope to do, and move forward. So we don't have a technical presentation or a member of the month this month, but I got a calendar cooking, which I'll show you, and we're starting to get stuff slotted in because I want to make it easier for everybody to get things slotted in sooner rather than me calling up the day before going, hey, can you do something for us? So, all right. So here's the agenda. Minutes, old business, new business, the new segment that we talked about that we'll actually introduce today. We'll take a break, then we'll do show and tell, et cetera, et cetera. So, I assume everyone got the minutes I sent out. I apologize it was a little bit later than I normally do, but everyone got the minutes. Any issues, concerns? Anyone want to pass a motion to say it was a work of art and we love it? Second on the art? Great. Okay, moving on. All right. Old business. We're up to 107 members on Facebook. That's good. Last month, we just stated the obvious. We obviously had the elections in November. You know who the officers are. We just reminded everybody of that last month, so there's nothing new there. But I just wanted to note that. Dues are due. They're $20, so I'll touch on that in a minute. So please do that as well. You know, again, we raised them because of the cost of living and everything, insurance, et cetera. So they did go up a little bit. We also still looking for a treasurer. And I'm going to ask Paul in a minute to kind of give a very quick recap on what we did with the mini auction that we had. So, and I may have jumped a gun here. Yeah. All right. We need a treasurer. We still don't have one. It's been 7 months. We've kind of asked for someone to do it. We've not gotten anything. Paul is in the interim mode right now for January, but we've got to take that off his plate. He's done his time. He's resigning from that. We need to have a treasurer. So it's very important. You know, it's not a ton of work, but an important job. So again, if you're interested in being a treasurer, let any of the officers know. Again, dues renewal. Mark has produced a beautiful list that I'll pass around. This is the current status of who's paid and who is not. You will see my name on there as someone who's not paid. I'm a slacker, but I'll take care of that today. If you want to pass that around, if you've not paid, please do so.
You have paid, your name's not on the list. Paid people, take a note on there.
What he said. If you've paid but you're not on the list, make a note on there as well. Because quite honestly, there are some people that don't ever pay, but they show up, and that's, you know, it does cost a few dollars for the donuts, because Paul always gets good donuts. Anyhow, I mentioned calendar. So this is always out there on the website, and you can get to that also from Facebook. So this is always updated, what we've mapped out for the year. Obviously, we still have some holes we're working on, but you can kind of see what we have planned tentatively for this upcoming calendar year. Next month, Jacob is going to do a member of the month. That's going to be very interesting because he's just an amazing person. So he will give us his life bio, and then in March, he's going to do a presentation that I asked him about because he's done several presentations on high-end speakers. We've seen that. It's fabulous, very cool stuff. But I said, what about the person who just goes into Best Buy and needs to buy some speakers? What do they look for? What do they not look for? How do you know if you got something good or not good? So in March, he's going to do a presentation that kind of explains speakers for the non-audiophile type person. What to get, what not to get, what to look over. I'm very interested in that because while I would love to have $10,000 speakers, I can't afford the divorce. So I'm the one that will go to Best Buy or whatever to do that. He'll do that as well. Sam Lechinger is going to do a Member of the Month. We have a new member joining us today, Stephen Hugh. He's right here. He's from Canton. Hughes. I'm sorry, Hughes. Hughes. See, I screwed it up. I even confirmed it, and I screwed it up. And he's going to do a Member of a Month for us sometime in the summertime, so we'll get to know about him pretty early on. You see the things we've listed for show and tells. Next month, radios from the 70s, crystal radios, portable record players, homebrew radios, portable TVs, radios that were used in TVs and movies, props. That requires a little digging around, but that could be a lot of fun. If you have a radio, if you have the infamous Walton radio. Work with me here. Yes, exactly. Pre-1930 vacuum tubes. That might be a mistaken line. Holiday-themed radios, etc., like that. But I'm still working on getting presentations, technical presentations mapped out, and the other members of the month. I spoke to somebody over the weekend about possibly doing a presentation on records, the physical record history, the development of records. That could be kind of cool. So again, this is always a work in progress. It's a living document. You can always check Facebook and the website and see what's going on and if you're interested in doing something. So we're still kind of working on all of that. Last month, Dwight orchestrated a nice little mini auction for the club with some test equipment that had come from the estate. What was the estate's name? You forget too. Anyway. Yeah, yes, right, Kutzen. And it was unbelievably successful. We're all just amazed. So if you want to just take a minute to kind of say how it went, what the totals were, and kind of how we did on that. Okay.
Hello. Yeah. Just a couple of other quick items. We're transferring the PayPal account over to Mark because he does most of the membership signups are on the PayPal, and also for the swap meet, the tables and everything, so it makes sense for him to do that. We're still working that, but he's going to be taking that over completely. Just for whatever it's worth, right now we show somewhere around $8,200 as assets for the club. As far as the auction is concerned, we collected $638 total, and the deal was to split it 50-50 with Joyce Knudsen. And I did send her a check for $320, and it has not been cashed. And I sent it to her in pretty soon after the meeting. So I don't know what the situation is on that, but once that happens, we'll have somewhere around $7,900 in the accounts. So that's about where we stand as far as that's concerned. There were 32 items at auction. Only one of them was not from Knudsen's estate, and that one was a $20 deal that just went to the club. So in a nutshell, that's it.
Okay. Paul actually had that item that he's talking about. He donated a piece of test gear with all the proceeds going to the club.
It was left over from Mill Holland.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
So that was something that I found in a box.
Okay. But literally everything went, which we were all surprised. And it was a holiday meeting, so we weren't even sure there would be a big turnout, but that was great. And then, we were able to get rid of those items, and the widow was able to get a few dollars out of the deal. So that was a win-win for everybody else. So thank you, Paul, on that one. All right. New business. Swap meets right around the corner. It's our favorite time of the year, twice, right? We're in the process areas right now is booking April 11th for our spring swap meet. That is normally, that would normally be our meeting day, but instead of a meeting day, it'll be a swap meet day. We kind of started doing that by accident last year, and it actually worked out very well. Minimizes the amount of driving that people have to do to go to the swap meet, and then come here, do multiple things in 1 month. So in April and in October, no meeting. The meeting is the swap meet. Again, Fowler Park, in April is indoors, in October will be outdoors. We're still working through some logistics. Do we want to do what we did last year? We had a contest. It was pretty successful. Do we still want to do that? Judges to judge said contest. Last year it was David and Jacob and Dwight. You know, think about if you want to be a judge for the contest. You know, don't need an answer now, but think about that. The categories last year: 1930s radio, mid-century modern, novelty and branded stuff, and best of show. Probably do something different. If you have a thought of what might be a cool category, let me know. If not, like I said, we'll still put that together. But the thinking is we will do a contest, and it will be 4 categories, similar to last year. Last year, we actually had, if you're familiar with the indoor facility, there's a kitchen area on one side of the building. The first year we did it there, we didn't have that open, and the food where it was lined up and people trying to get in there was a little cluttery. Last year, it was actually a booking error, but it worked out to our favor. We actually got that kitchen space. Now, I know Lloyd was in charge of the food last year. Is it worth spending the extra dollars to have that space? Did it make it better for you? Right, okay.
We had access to the ice.
Right, okay, all right, so we'll just, we'll make an executive decision that we'll just go ahead and do that again. It was better for everybody. It was a few dollars more. Yeah, book the kitchen thing. Right, there's an ice machine back there before we have to go schlep bags of ice, so, yes, sir?
Yeah, we should have asked it what it was.
Yeah,
I thought we took it was,
yeah, we'll, yeah,
just very asked.
yeah, I know. That's the worst thing that happened. I'm okay with that. And then volunteers, so start thinking about, you know, what you might want to help out with. We had a person that orchestrated the pizza and stuff. If you're not familiar, lunch is basically pizza and soft drinks, you know, for a donation. That's sort of how that works. So we'll need somebody to kind of bird dog that. The pizzas are delivered, so it's not like the person has to run to the pizza parlor and bring back. Of course, last year the poor delivery person got lost and didn't speak English, so Lloyd was chasing that one down. But it happens. Somebody at the door to just kind of greet people. Ticket person to sell the 50/50 raffles and the other tickets. So we kind of need a ticket van, a white, if you want to do that. Historically, we do a presentation. So we'll kind of work on, see how that works, what we can potentially do as a presenter and a theme or topic for that. Auctions, we generally either have auctions from club stuff or leftover things, and then there's silent auctions and whatever. So I assume we'll do some sort of auction this time around. We'll have to figure out exactly what that looks like based on what kind of gear we still have available for the club to sell as well. And then end time. So last year, we actually padded the end time out a little bit, which made it much less chaotic in getting out of there because we had hard outs and stuff. So I know the people that were involved, again, is it worth the extra couple of dollars for the extra time to put that pad on the back end? Thoughts? Was it worth it? Okay.
As the outgoing treasurer, we've got almost $8,000 in the till. I'm not suggesting that we spend any of it unwisely, but to the extent that we could, if this thing costs us $100 more or whatever, it's not gonna hurt us financially, and it's gonna make everything run a lot easier. My attitude is it's a good trade to get any additional piece of this that you can get, makes it go smoothly and look professional, and everybody has a good time and nobody's panicking and running
Right.
around trying to figure out what to do. So this is a social event as much as anything. So
Agreed.
let's treat it that way, and if we don't make money on it, don't worry about it, it's not gonna hurt us.
Okay, so then, again, another executive decision, we'll add that time at the back end.
So they open at 8, right?
Yes.
8 a.m. Well, what it's gonna, because I'll go on tonight and put the reservation in. What do we go to, that is
and I'm trying to remember, it was,
I think it was 3 of them, wasn't it?
that's what I thought, and then we were out by 3.
If we get an extra hour, I mean,
So
that
three
just,
PM.
Yes, let's do that.
that just makes it so much easier.
Any concerns?
And we also want the audio visual.
Yes, yeah, I assume that, yes, we want the AV there.
Just wanted to check.
Yeah, absolutely. I know an executive decision, but anyone have concerns with our thinking? No? Good, love it. Okay, great. All right, so we now have as soon as he gets the paperwork in, we have our spring meet locked and loaded, and we'll, again, flesh out roles and stuff like that as we get farther into that. I'll start doing the marketing and stuff as we get a little bit closer, obviously, once everything is signed and we're good to go. But we got that locked and loaded, which again is another plus for us, because in the past, sometimes, no fault of our own, we were having to scramble to move things. There was a facility that was used a couple of years ago, and we kind of got the raw end of the deal. And I know Aries and Dwight were just running around trying to find a place that you could afford, that was available, and it pushed it up to the end. And we've been lucky to be proactive for the last year and a half or so. It just makes it so much easier. So, and the facility's great, so we're checking those boxes earlier, and so it's cookie cutter versus having to do a lot of drama. So, all right, so we got that. Stay tuned for more on that. There you go. All right, I wanted to take just a second and kind of look back at the year. We've had a lot of I think, positive changes, minimal negative changes. Of course, if you don't agree, let me know. But we've expanded our Facebook viewership considerably. A lot of activity. Aries is always on there. Roger's always on there. I'm always on there. And it's good just to see the stuff out there. So that has been very successful. We've added club members. We had several club members come in over the last year, which is good, given that the hobby tends to, people are getting out of the hobby. So if we're getting people coming in, that's a plus. Our attendance, our meeting attendances have been historically higher over the last year, 25 to 30 people every month. That's pretty good. 1 or 2 times we had standing room only, so that's good. So we're bringing something that people want to come here and participate with. So that's exciting. We started recording the meetings, as you know, and posted them on our YouTube channel. I know people do watch them. Aries on a couple occasions has missed a meeting and said, hey, is the video out there? Can I go and look at it? So, we never did it to drive a lot of traffic. It was more to make it our meetings available to people who are 3 hours away and be able to watch and participate, even if it's in sort of a semi-remote playback situation. Doesn't cost anything. I own the software. I cut the video. Not a big deal. We bought the camera, but it's pennies on the dollar for the fact that one person can enjoy the meeting and not be here. To me, that's a good trade-off. So we've done that. And we did, as you recall, we did 2 Zoom presentations. The same gentleman did a part 1 and a part 2. First one was technically a little wacky because we didn't know what we were doing. But the second one worked out very, very well. So it just showed that we could have presentations done remotely, that we don't always have to have somebody who's local and that can expand our pool of knowledge experts in our presentations. I'm still working on getting my former colleague who's at Ford in the archives department to do something about Ford and Philco. He's still on the radar, but he's very busy. But I'm still working on that one. And that would be a remote one. Yes, sir.
My son works at Ford. He's had a crack at that too. Ford doesn't want to talk about Philco as well.
Well, and maybe that's it. But he's the archivist, so he's in a position to.
He's been into the archives. My son has, yes.
Yeah, I'm sure that they don't. And if they don't want to talk about it, that's fine. We'll do a story on Mustangs then.
You got a guy who can do it.
Yep. One of the things that I wish we could have done a little bit more on, and it will be a focus for next year, is attracting some more younger members. I wanted to try and connect with the schools and stuff, especially through Jacob. We just hadn't gotten to that point. We hadn't cracked that nut yet. With everything else going on, it's not because we're lazy. We just had a lot of stuff going on. So, but we're there. And my project of reviewing all of our documents and revisiting the club rules and everything like that has not come as long as I wanted it to do. I've got an outline. That's a start, right? But that's also a focus again for next year, because even our bylaws are grossly outdated. We're supposed to have a monthly newsletter. Not happening. Not in today's day and age. So we do need to look at that. So, but I think we've had a successful year. We've done some new things, got good attendance, got good swap meets going on. That's a little Freudian slip. And so I'm very proud of what the club and all the officers and everybody has done this year. And I think, everybody should applaud everybody else for their efforts. Don't really applaud. So what do we want to do next year? Well, let's continue to see if we get more people on Facebook. There are people in this club who are not on Facebook. I would encourage you to get on Facebook. You don't have to be a social media, whatever, but it's fun to watch the little fun stuff out there. And if you just don't want to do it, that's fine too. It does give another channel for us all to do. Want to again try to continue to add new members. So even if we get 2 or 3, that's 2 or 3 that we didn't have last year. So do that. What I want to do is, and we talked about this very briefly last year, is sort of engage some of these adjacent type clubs. There are a number of hams in here. I know Jim's involved with his ham club. I want to try and cross-pollinate us with some of these other groups a little bit more than we're currently doing. I'm probably, now that I moved, I'm probably going to join the ham club up there in Calhoun. Obviously, if and when I do that, I will be the voice of this organization into that. We can go out, we all have affiliations and stuff now. If we have an opportunity to speak to some of these adjacent clubs about the SARS Club, let's take advantage of it. I've already been asked to present at the, North Fulton Amateur Radio, whatever it is. North Fulton? Yeah, Norfolk. Norfolk. Wasn't that a line from Coneheads? Narful the, never, anyway. And so sometime in the spring, I will go and kind of present us. One of the things that we talked about was partnering with the club that does the Stone Mountain Ham Fest. I know several members here have sold radio sort of on their own, gotten tables at the swap meet out there. I want to see if we can connect with them in a little more formal configuration and be sort of like a pseudo sometime partner with them, specifically around the swap meet. So it could be or a ham fest. So it could be a situation where the club, so their advertising says Stone Mountain, and SARS in the corner somewhere. And the club purchases X number of tables. Now we got to kind of figure out some mechanics, but we're in the corner, we have our big banner there. And whether the club buys the tables and then the members kind of buy from that, right? So Aries gets a table, Randy gets a table, but they're all under the SARS umbrella next to the big SARS logo. And it allows, again, some of that kind of cross promotion. Plus it makes it a little bit easier than 3 people going in there by themselves trying to set up tables and things like that. It's more of a group thing. Got to kind of work on some mechanics of that, but I would like to see if we can do something like that. One, I think it'll benefit the members wanting to sell stuff, right? If you go in as a group, and it may help us get some exposure to some of these, again, adjacent clubs that don't know about us. Are there audiophile clubs in town? Roger, I mean, there probably are. Hi-fi clubs or something around here. We can, go make nice with them a little bit and kind of get on their radar.
We have a sign and two members.
Well, we
Oh yeah, absolutely.
We had a table a couple of times and we understaffed that day. We didn't sell anything at the table. What we did was set up displays. We put in brochures. This was the era of you could still make a trifold brochure. And it was nice. It worked pretty well. I thought. I don't know if we got any new members of it or not. I really couldn't say. But it was just a lot of fun to go there and fly the flag.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, I mean, I would support some kind of methodology for members to sell stuff in addition. But yeah, the promotion would be, that's a given. Absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, it could be a combination of some not for sale stuff just for display and some things that
Right.
people want to sell. That
Right.
might be a nice attractive.
Right. I mean, how did you find us? Mark. How'd you find him?
I was looking for some bands for my radio.
Oh, okay.
My Zenith radio.
And
Looking for the club radio basis kind of stuff. So
got it. Yeah, and I've been contacted twice in the last 30 days for people that, want to sell, hey, I got a bunch of stuff, can you send this out on the club whatever. So there are people finding us. I don't know how they found me, but they're finding us. So let's take advantage of that. Yes, sir.
I don't know if it helps you discuss in the law firm, but currently there are 4 maybe people from the club that sell there anyway, either in their own yard or inside the building. So you can let them, you can be confident you can probably get at least 5 tables and sell that out with our club
Yeah.
participation today.
Yeah. Good. Sam.
I was selling it to start not to use it by myself, but like he said, I would be perfectly fine with just putting like a flyer or banner or something for this club at my table, just as a kind of a drive advertisement. I'm not using space in front of the table anyway.
Okay. Yes.
I've sold there a few years, and, to have a booth just, a table just for membership, I think would benefit. Having a bunch of tables together with people competing with booths, but, there's a lot of other, I guess for lack of a better term, vendors and clubs there that set up a table, and club members will sit there. If I'm selling, it's gonna be hard for me to talk about the club.
Sure.
I'll just be honest.
Mhm.
Because it's a hobby business for us.
Mhm.
But if I say I'm gonna commit from 10 to 12 to to promote the club, then I consider the club table with brochures and membership forms. That makes sense.
Oh, totally.
So if we're there selling, that's almost, if we're displaying, that's one thing. If we're selling, we benefit from the club just having
You have,
a booth.
well, if you had several tiers together, some could be, one piece for like promotion, the
Yeah.
other for sales.
Well,
It might have.
I think the promotion is important. I'm just saying for someone who's seriously selling,
Yeah, no, I don't disagree.
they wouldn't be able to focus on membership.
Right.
Where we say, okay, we're gonna have 5 tables, we would get the tables, and then we're gonna focus on selling, but during this hour, or this 2 hours, we would focus on membership.
Right.
That way we talk about the club, not just, hey, buy my radio.
Right. And then somebody, in that case, like myself, who will not be selling anything, I can be the
Right.
spokesperson
Now,
there. But
I've been past president, I just stepped down this year for president of the Linear Lending Club, amateur radio club, and have been involved with some of the stuff that's going on, so maybe it'll help me out.
that'd be good. The beauty is we have time. So, hang on. Yes, sir.
So maybe listening to this and what he said, maybe we should make up a flyer that has our info, maybe part of the form for joining, contact information. Not a date on it, so we can use it whenever.
Yeah.
But just a nice flyer.
Yeah, we have that. I built that stuff last year. We have all of that stuff because I'll either have been putting them into little plastic inserts. And in fact, I actually put a QR code so you can hit the QR code and go to the website directly and stuff. So, yeah.
Yeah, we should.
But yes, you
Mail
are.
it, whatever, yeah.
Yes, yes. Gene.
I've been a member of all about 40 years. And, actually, I'm the guy that sells stuff from estates that have been donated to our club. And we've got a new president, Larry, K4RE, and I can put you in touch with him. You guys can talk about it. I definitely bring that up.
Okay.
Well, just a suggestion to make, we try to isolate our booth into the outbuilding, not the building with all the club presentations, because the traffic there is very different than it is with what's in the building. What he was talking about, the flea market building.
Yeah. I've never been out there, so I'm going to trust you all on that stuff. I've never been there. Huh? Yeah, I've never been there, so. Yeah, right. Yeah. That's March, right? February? That might be a little too quick to turn around, but, I mean,
You do is have a club table and then, the members have their own table in the third area.
right.
The Lawrenceville thing is in November.
Right, we had a lot of time for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. We just may not have time to do Dalton this year. But that doesn't mean don't do bad English. Don't do Dalton next year. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
I also,
Yeah.
I think we ought to also think about the audio club in Atlanta, because they may also be a good combiner for a lot of those stuff.
Who is this?
Some of those guys down.
What club is this?
I forget the exact name of it, but it's the big club down in Atlanta of audio enthusiasts, who, a lot of them are into the vacuum tube,
Okay.
electronics and all that stuff.
Okay. So audiophile type.
Had a number of them out of my.
Okay. All right. And so this is the beauty here. This was just one that had popped up because we chatted about it briefly last year, but we're not limited to that. So Dalton, if it's not this year, next year, if it's the audio group or whatever, other ham groups. Way again, just to cross-pollinate. You all have your connections. You all have your sources. You know, let's take advantage of your connections to kind of build on it. Yeah.
I think if we do have club members going to Dalton, we have this thing like, hey, there's not time to say do an official booth, but.
That is fabulous. And we have business cards. As you all recall, we had nice business cards printed up. So that is a fabulous idea. So what I'll do following this is I will summarize something about if you're going to Dalton and we like you to promote the club, and we have flyers, we have all of that stuff. And if anyone's going up there, just take a handful of these.
It's a little late now, but Tech Fest is coming up the last Saturday of this month.
What's Tech Fest?
Tech Fest is kind of nice. It's a gathering of, we got three book club sponsors. Gars, yeah,
Gars
right.
is Tech Fest.
Gars. And it's kind of like, more like technical presentations and displays. So it's not a swap meet. Anybody at a table isn't really selling anything per se. It might be a table of telegraph keys, it might be a table of computer apps, satellite communications, all kinds of technology. And it's not necessarily specific to ham radios. I mean, there's been radio astronomy, and all kinds of stuff. Anything technical related to radio.
Okay. And when is that?
And it's at the Gwinnett Fairgrounds. It was last year. I think it is this year too. You can check it on the web. And it's January the 1st.
Okay, so we probably missed that one, but put it in for next year.
But if anybody's interested,
Right, they can take, and they're going anyway, they can do the flyer thing.
Reed and I always go.
Okay. You going this year?
Yeah.
All right, I'll connect with you. Take some of our pretty cards, pass them out.
You can always pass them out.
Are you just a visitor, or are you displaying
I'm
it?
just a visitor.
Just visitor?
You know,
Excellent. So these are all great ideas, and this is what I was hoping to do, bringing this up today, is that now we've gone from one to half a dozen great ideas. So this is how we can help to get our name out in some of these peripheral organizations. And, you know, maybe nothing comes of it, but maybe something does, right?
By the way, just as an added bonus for that, we also have a chili fest at the same day, and so you'll get a dozen or more lots of different types of chili that different members made from different clubs.
Uh-huh.
And so, you know, for a very reasonable price, you can sample different chilies.
Uh-huh. Who's the chili guru in this club? Mine's won awards,
Well, then, we don't.
but I don't do it anymore. I don't do it anymore. Yes, sir? No, this tech meet, I guess they also do a chili cook-off simultaneously. Yeah. There you go. Okay, the new chili guru right there, with dad's stuff. So great. All right, this is excellent. So thank you. This is again what I was hoping us to do, and I think we have some relatively easy but achievable goals going into the next year and just doing what we normally do. Again, I want to get more young people. I'm going to harass Jacob when I see him next week, and I'm going to get all of our documents reviewed and then vetted and blessed and all that kind of mumbo jumbo.
Who? Nicholas.
For which?
Remember, young guy.
Oh yeah, well yeah, I know, but he's old now. He's been here 20 minutes.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
We're moving on.
He's getting to be an old guy.
He's an old guy. All right. There was a suggestion made, let me back up, when we kind of revamped the format last January, we introduced a section that would allow to just open up the room for club members to ask, discuss, whatever. Pass the knowledge. I'm working on a widget. How do I do this? Anyone got any XYZs? Da, 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 da. And generally, as you would expect, it was probably pretty quiet. And then I think it was you suggested, somebody suggested, making it a little more formal. So if Jim is working on a specific project, he comes in that next meeting and say, "Hey, I'm working on this," and we can announce it on the before that, so people can get the little brains working. And we spend a little more focused time specifically on Jim's request rather than, "Hey, I'm looking for some transistors," right? And pull the knowledge that's in this room and say, "Well, okay, well, Jim, have you tried this?" I'm gonna pick on Jim because I can't. You know, I've done this. I had the same thing. You know, Roger's got a ton of experience. Hey, have you put this in the? Oh, there's a ton of knowledge here, and it allows for that knowledge to help somebody. So it's a little more formal version of what we were doing before. It was just kind of really, well, anybody got whatever. A little more structure. But what we'll do is, again, if we know in advance that Jim is working on a project, when we send out the minutes and say, "Hey, look, Jim wants to ask a question about XYZ. If you have any suggestions for him, think about it, and we'll be part of it." So this is going to be a little more formal kind of a thing. So now, officially, is anyone working on a project that they could use some advice on? What you got?
On tubes, at the top, some of them have little wires coming up the top, and we've got like an insulator. No, tell me, some of them, yeah, it's got a little cap on it, it's got
It's a
some.
metal cap though.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
metal.
it's broken off.
And it's broken off, it's got like some type of insulation kind of inside of it.
No, what you gotta do is you can splice sometimes another wire on there, take the solder off the top of the old cap, and then bring it onto the new solder.
It's not solder cap, it looks like a little metal cap.
Yeah.
It's soldered on.
But
It's usually
But it's
soldered.
soldered on.
Yeah.
It looks like,
It doesn't look like
cork
it's soldered,
almost.
so it-
Oh, there's cement under it.
underneath it.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a type of funny cement that glues that.
What's the purpose of
That
it? Is it
glues the-
ground of some sort or is it?
No, it goes through where the two holes, the whole grid.
Okay.
First grid, and, they more or less glue them on as well as the solder. So sometimes you see they're loose, but they don't come off as the solder.
These, I've got two or three of them that are off.
Yeah, but is the wire still there?
Yeah, the wires there.
Okay, well then you're bold, because you can take solder another wire on, and then put a cap on top of that, and solder that on.
Okay.
And there's glues that are pretty modern, I've tried them, and they'll cement metal to glass.
Really?
I use an epoxy that you need, so it's like a plug-in, so stuff it up in there.
What
press it
type of
close,
epoxy?
That is that, stuff you get at the hardware.
JB Weld.
Yeah.
Well, there's
Yeah,
different types. I wouldn't use.
What you gotta do,
No?
Well, not the metal, no, but just a 5-inch or something.
you gotta clean the solder off the top of the cap, and then you'll see the little hole, and then bring your wire out through.
That cap has a hole in the top.
Oh, it
so
does?
it's
Yes.
there.
It does.
Yes.
What do you clean it off with?
Solder with.
Just heat solder from the melts.
Yeah, flick it, and it'll come right out.
This is just times 38, it's a few minutes, 38 guys.
Yeah.
God only knows what, you know, Dusty hasn't worked on for years. No, it's just tried out.
That's worth a try.
Oh, absolutely.
If it doesn't work,
You know worse off? Yeah.
I'll take a picture of it and bring it in if it doesn't work.
Ben, yes.
It's a suggestion, somebody has a problem with bringing up after this, or you put it in how it say, literally, I have this problem, you put it through some good ideas. Sam would probably be better at just type it in, say, can we discuss it at the next meeting?
Yeah, yeah.
Get Aries to bring in a tool that he's got that problem with and demonstrate the process by which it gets fixed.
Okay, so that could be a technical presentation, and agreed. So the idea of, by letting this topic out early, people could, yes, bring it in, because, you know, it's kind of hard to visualize. So that's the formality that we'll bring going forward, yeah. So it's really about you. Okay. turn the voltage down.
Is it temperature, I mean, has it got an oven?
It's temperature control. It runs very stably to 75 against everything else I've mentioned. I borrowed a project from Georgia Tech one time, and it's still running 2% fast against that. And I've replaced the system. I don't know what's going to point 0.02% fast. I mean, it's all right as long as you know. It doesn't really matter. You can always correct for it. But it just seems odd.
Any thoughts?
The solution for that is on the outside of the unit to write like 10.2.
Oh, yeah, and that I have done.
I'm surprised there's not an offset control on that.
There is a, you can adjust it, but it was way out of it. It doesn't not adjusted enough. I tried showing great factor as does the see that, but it didn't drag it away. It won't get it back to.
A very small, like, maybe a 10 puff password or something across the timer will either make it worse.
Yeah, I've tried that. It doesn't,
tried
it
it?
doesn't have enough. It doesn't change the oscillating speed enough to bring it back to the good. It's a piece of it.
Yeah.
It's not that old, but it's.
If it's a heat chip, it's not you.
Is there a chance that some of the resistors well, take your eyes off?
Which one is it?
Measure all of the components around it.
Well, that's a possibility.
Direct substitution.
If your adjustment as you tune it is unable to go, in other words, to get it right is out of range of the volts, it could be that the reason is because one of your resistors is
But my understanding is difficult to get it. This would oscillate that far off. It's volume range. So that's kind of consequence.
Do you have a way do you have an output where you can get an output of time base?
Oh, yeah.
This is why I do it. I've got a degree from Georgia Tech in engineering. And I get called on by my company. I'm the only one who knows shit about RF in my company. Everybody else is all digital stuff. I've tried to retire twice. I get sucked back in. Like I just said, we don't have anybody that knows RF. Right now, I'm upgrading F-35s and F-22s into fiber optic because we're trying to get rid of all the copper from EMI.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't find this tribal knowledge anywhere. So this is why I'm here. And the guys at Georgia Tech, the guys at Purdue would still love to find out about all this stuff because it's cool to know it.
Mm-hmm.
This is how we need to get these people in, even if it's remotely, to join into this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Point to the video.
Yeah.
They can see the video.
Yep.
This is why I'm here.
Well, good. Well, we did this for you.
The stuff.
Paul, this got it for you.
You did, but the stuff is gold, man. It is. It's really gold.
Yeah. So you go ahead. Okay. And I've got a project. I'll bring it in next time. I had all the stars aligned last night. You know that I was working on an old phonograph record player, 1920s model. It's my wife's somebody or another. And I could not find anything on this model at all, period. Other models from Polk, yes, they were made in Atlanta at the Polk Furniture Store, could not find anything on this. I was beginning to think it was, assembled. And I was just about to give up and had to turn it into like a Frankenstein thing. And some of you may know that the tone arm mount was pot metal, had brittled and fallen apart, and I had a 3D Mark. I got a model made. Mark made me a new mount, but I still couldn't figure out how it all went together. Last night, cruising around, somebody on a auction site had sold that unit. Not that unit, but the same model. So I actually had pictures. I was actually able to see what it was supposed to look on the inside. And interestingly enough, they had replaced the tone arm with, I was talking to Randy,
Looks like a Columbia.
yeah, so obviously that was a common problem with the pot metal, and they just shoved another one in there. But it has two coil cans, and on the top is a little gear, and they're inverted, right? The problem is I don't have the screws to hold that top in properly. It needs 4 per plate. I have 2. And it's weird because the top hole and the hole that's the can part are like different sizes. It's really weird. I can get a screw that fits on the top but won't fit on the bottom. So I'm gonna bring that in next week and have you all look at it and say, where can I possibly find these weird screws to put this thing back together? Because that's the only thing keeping me from actually putting it together. I got new spring coils and everything. I got a replacement tone arm thanks to Randy. I had the reproducer that may or may not work. We'll find out. The only thing keeping me from turning that thing on is that getting those coil can lids on. Yes, sir.
A good source for me has been Andy Ace Hardware in Tucker. And bring in your screw.
Mhm.
And there are people there in that aisle, you know, that know where, and they don't have everything, but if they do have it, I mean, it's maybe four times as much stuff as a Home Depot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They have a sample thing with threads and everything.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's really what I need. Because you're right, Depot doesn't have that kind of finesse. They got bigger
Most
bolts.
Ace Hardware is
Have that? Okay.
Depending on where you're going, and we used to use GE, we used to use General Hardware
Okay.
in Brookhaven.
Uh-huh.
And it was an old time Ace Hardware, I mean, wooden floor types in the back, and guys that do everything that
Yep.
in there, like, since the dawn of time.
Yep. Excellent. So I'll bring
This
it.
stuff far enough back that sometimes you'll get into, you know, it's not a 632, it's a 618, or, you know, something that's not even out there anymore. So-
But I'll bring it in and you all can look and
You can tap and
Oh, yeah.
that's above my pay grade. If you want to do it, go for it. Yes.
I was looking for a very specific type of screw, and I went to the Gates and this and that. Then I went to some glasses.
Yeah.
I thought maybe one of these little tiny, couldn't find it there. Finally, believe it or not, I found it at Hobby Town over in
Really?
the west side, around, I think around that
Yeah.
big Hobby Town.
Yeah.
That's where they had it. Very specific.
Oh.
No, I want another something.
Oh, okay.
Just a thing, I know you kind of dismissed the tap and die thing.
No, I don't dismiss it, but
You can get an inexpensive tap and die set.
that requires knowledge. I
like
don't know
10 or
what I'm
15
doing.
bucks. All it is a set of, basically, they're kind of like drill bits, but
Yeah.
specific thread.
Uh-huh.
You can cut any metal, the size thread that you find.
Okay.
Screw. And take
So
something
I-
that's unobtainium and make it universal.
Well, maybe that's the best solution then.
It's not expensive, it's not elegant, it's a little drop of oil, thread, make it thread.
Yeah, but you tap it for a screw that you can get, so I mean.
Right,
yeah.
exactly.
I was up on Tuscaloosa, and most of the time I only take screws out, like trying to like that, I already screwed up. When you put it back in, I like to feel it starting,
Mhm.
turn it back over to feel it starting. I've got in a hurry now, so I'm just doing reservation on it. Measures, I'll put, oh. So then I had to go to Harvard Friday, my metric, because I had to have it done. Standard, I will not have metric. So now I got my, rule of thumb is place, be careful.
Yeah, well, this thing, somebody had been in it a long time ago, one of the bands was busted, I don't know, and there were parts that should never have been in there, so who knows what did.
So you can tap it,
All right, well, maybe we'll do that then.
What size screw are you talking about? Roughly
It'll,
like a six.
I don't, because again, I still go, is that a 1/4-inch socket, or I don't, you know, I take 6 out there and whatever fits I use, right? I don't know, it is small, machines, metal,
16th of an inch small or like 8th of an inch small?
more like,
More like an 8.
I think more like an 1/8, yeah. Yeah. But again, like the thread pattern on the plate is different than the thread pattern on the cup.
So sometimes if the screw size is right, you can just run like an 832 down it and refret it. Come to my house and we'll do it.
Okay. From my house now, it's like a 2-day trip, so. Yeah, but I'm up in Calhoun now, so. Okay, all right, well, anything else? Yes?
I don't know whether or not you want to talk briefly about this place and access to it in the next
Is that a thing we need to think about?
Yeah,
Okay.
okay, let me explain.
I sent around an email to the executive group. They are going to engage in a major project here, starting sometime later this month, where they're going to put a whole new series of lights on the field, and they're going to block off a tremendous amount of parking. And so to get in here, this area is going to be unaffected, but on the far side where the row of cars are doubled, that side on there and the side toward the fence is going to be completely blocked off until August. And so they're going to have, on this message they sent out, I guess none of you guys opened that.
No, I did.
that you did.
I thought you were actually referring to the Fowler
No,
construction.
I'm talking about this.
Yeah.
And you're gonna, I don't know how we're gonna manage unloading a whole bunch of equipment. Now, we come in early, and so we may be able to make it work because there won't be a lot of people here. But if you come in and there's no parking, you're gonna have to go way up around in the back and walk a long distance to get back down here. I cannot believe that that is gonna last all the way until August, as they have said, but that's what it says. Now, what I will also say is I come in here twice a week, and every week I come in here on a Thursday, so I'll be here the Thursday before every meeting on that weekend. And I can keep track of what's going on and send a message around to let you know what to expect. Because I can't believe it's going to work out the way they've got it shown for the diagram that's on there. So what I would suggest is I would like to send the link that they sent to me to the membership. And you guys that come to the meetings ought to open it so you have a visual idea as to where the parking is going to be and where it isn't. And then on top of that, before each one of the meetings, I'll send a message out and let you know what to expect, because I can't believe they're going to have it blocked off the way they show it for the entire time that they've got it done. And it's a project that's going around for all of the recreation centers in the county and in Roswell. And so I just can't believe it's going to be like they say, but they did warn us, and we got to be prepared to deal with that. So, just so you know, yeah.
Are they gonna continue to have athletic activities on the fields while the lights are being installed?
I am sure they will.
Because that's gonna be, 'cause if they're not, they're gonna put pauses on that, that'll reduce the strain on the parking.
I'm sure they're going to they're going to continue. There is a tremendous amount of parking that you guys have never seen if you haven't gone up, around, and in back. But then you have to walk around and back down and get in the back door of this building in order to get in here. So we'll cover that, but that's an issue we're going to have to deal with until this project is done. And it doesn't affect just this property. It's every one of the properties that Roswell runs. I don't know if it applies to all of Fulton County or not, but anyway, it does apply to us. So you need to keep your heads up, and if it's okay, I'll send a copy, I'll send that link on an email to the membership.
Yeah, so just explain in your note what you just said here, and that you'll send a note out before the
Okay.
meeting, kind of with an update. I saw that, and I thought you were referring to, because, outside of the Fowler Park, they've been blowing things up there for years, so I thought that was what the reference. So shame on me. So yes, you got that. Beautiful. I agree with you all. I don't think it's gonna have a huge impact on us because we get here early, but you just never know. And if you gotta move,
I'm gonna be bellyaching at us, because if we get here early and take up all the parking places that there are, then there aren't gonna be any left over for the people that wanna play on the field. And there's an awful lot of people that participate in activities here, they're not handicapped to where they got a tag, but they can't walk a long distance. And so this is liable to be a mess, and that's why I think that the way it works out on a case-by-case basis is gonna be different. And, I think we need to watch it and be aware of what's happening, so that's
But I will also argue that there are people in here that can't necessarily walk a half a mile either, so.
That is, that's,
Yeah, I mean, I'm not terribly worried about it.
well, the
Exactly.
beauty of it is the April date for the swap meet turned out to be one that we won't be here.
That's
So
right,
that'll-
so it's 93.
There you go.
So we planned it, we knew.
Oh, yeah, right, yeah, we knew.
So, good to bring it out. I don't think it'll be quite the issue as the others will probably have to deal with, so, okay.
Be aware.
Yes, good. Any other projects anyone's working on? Yes.
I have the 1929 radio, those capacitors that look like metal rectangle boxes, and they're stuck to the bottom of the chassis of the overnight cable box. Black car. Like I've tried, I don't know what kind of, there's like glue underneath it or something, but there's, I remove screws, I've tried gluing it up and tapping it, I don't want to damage the radio.
Yeah.
Trying to get that part off. I don't know if I need to apply heat or something, just start raining.
Yeah, heat gun is off on the car. It's not bad to do outside.
I'll do it outside.
I did one of those, I put it, I had the box on it, it was full of car. So I put it in my wife's electric fan.
You're still married?
That fan is still in my workshop.
If you got an outdoor grill, it works too.
You know,
Unless you buy your wife a
this is kind of interesting because I've done a lot of, you know, like, at work hit transformers and stuff like that. You get it out of the can, put it in. And I've done the heat thing several times in several different ways. But what really works great, you couldn't do it in that case, heat guns the only way. But if you have something that's really potted and you have the ability to put it in a freezer, it works like 100 times better. Oh, yeah, you take it down to like 0 degrees and tap it, and the tar will just shatter. Yeah, and, you know, you just dump it in the trash can, it's great. I don't know where I read that, but I tried it a couple of times, it's the only way I do it. Just freeze it, yeah. 100-year-old tar doesn't hold up real good in freezing. We all know that from driving.
Yeah, that's in the same category as hosing down a Tektronix scope.
I've done stuff similar to that. It'll dry, it'll be fine.
Well, I mean, doing it in an oven or something, you know, like you said, the smell and, you know, I can't afford the aluminum and stuff, you know, but the freezer worked great.
You won't find that in the repair book anymore.
No.
Freezer worked
I'm
great.
safe.
Okay. All right, well, that wraps our inaugural member project thing. And so, like I said, if you've got something planned for next month, just let me know and we'll add it to the agenda, bring it in. People can start getting their head around possible ideas. I think this has been very interesting just in this little bull session we've had here. So let's take it. Oh, go ahead.
Do we have a group IO?
A group.
Groups IO, we should have groups IO, it would work great for this.
Who's IO, they say, keep it up with the finger.
I'll give it to you. It's
Okay.
Where, basically, it's like a message board where all the members could go in and.
Okay, all right. Yeah.
And you can post anything you want on the club.
But this, you could have a conversation with about the project.
Well, so,
You could do that.
Okay.
and if you're, again, on Facebook, you know, you can do that through Messenger too. It's just, there are people that if they're not on there, they probably are not going to get onto an individual chat board.
So a lot
So,
of people still use groups IO, right about radio, I know that they don't do Facebook or any social media.
Right.
Groups
So-
IO is something that works, it comes out as like an email.
right. And it's an option, but having done this for a long time, the worst thing you want to do is, from no communication, is too many channels. What do I use for what? It's not a bad idea, I'm just saying, but what do I use for what? You know, and so we have toyed with that idea, but I wanted to see how these others work. If we want to consider another channel that's more of a dedicated chat board, then you sign on. You know, we can do that.
What club uses that?
Well, but club news is all or nothing. unless you manually go in and put people's email addresses. In a chat board, you can literally sign up, so only the people that are in the board are getting the messages.
Wouldn't you want every member to be on?
Well, again, that's the variable because,
Every member is on Club News.
understood, but,
So if you had something for sale, or you wanna know how to fix something, it would go out to every member of this club.
right, but if you two are talking about a widget,
Yeah.
and you're posting it on an email, I'm gonna get real upset real quick because I'm being bombed with email that I don't care about.
But Groups IO is gonna
Yeah.
let everybody on the group.
No, it depends on how you build it. If you build it where you basically join,
Yeah.
okay, only the people that are in that group are going to get it, all right?
So you could have conversations between two people, say, well, I don't know about that, let's add this guy.
Yes, correct,
So you'll be-
correct.
you're not reporting these to-
But doesn't a moderator determine who's in Groups IO?
No,
No, it's just whoever needs to be pulled in or wants to be pulled in, or
Yeah.
can be- somebody can drop out as well. So it's-
Yeah.
it's
yeah, there are various ways you can do it. It's, there are options of how you want to do it. You could truly have a private chat where it's just the two of you, and no one's involved unless you invite them or,
That's what email is.
Not necessarily.
Email's great for one-way communication, gets the news out, and maybe get a couple responses back.
right,
Groups IO is a form of chat discussion board, thread discussion group kind of thing, where it's for an isolated group, they can break out, it's much more specifically designed to promote discussion.
Right.
So it's
Yeah.
versus one-way communication with some feedback, it's meant to really get into it.
Like Jim is like, I'm on one site called repeaterbuilder.com. It's only repeater build. So that's it.
yeah.
And you have to be within this group. You can see everybody in this. But on a discussion, you can add to the discussion.
But if you're not in the group, you don't see it, and they don't see you. So it's absolutely an option if we want to pursue that, but, I just don't want us to have too many channels and they go, well, am I talking to them on this, or am I talking to them on that? Because that is a problem in corporate America, is they start rolling out all of these
That
things.
guy does Teams, and that guy
Yes.
texts, and that guy over there,
Exactly.
no one calls on the phone.
Exactly. Well, do I use Teams or do I use Zoom? And what about the, Salesforce? Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to be just a nightmare. I mean, I had a senior vice president politely grumble going, I don't even know what channel I'm supposed to use. How do I talk to, I got all these things, what do I use? Because they never set any rules, they just turned all the stuff on. Yeah. Well, it's because IT was given free reign, they were really locked down, and then a new CIO came in and he goes, let's turn it all on.
400 emails a day. We'll have to stop
Yeah,
that.
exactly. So, but valid point. We'll look into that, see if that's something we want to do. I never heard it called IO, that's why I was confused, because I was not familiar with that. Yeah, and I know what you're talking about, okay. All right, let's take a 20-minute break. Smoke them if you got them, eat the donuts if you like them, and we will come back with our show and tell, transistor radios. It is now time for show and tell. Oh, yes. Oh, okay. Show and tell. So this month's topic was transistor radios. Any model, any year, big, small, old, new, didn't matter. So, and we see a bunch of, and I see a Gilligan's Island radio back there. With the Iowa branding, excuse me, instead of the Packard Bell, but it was the same on the inside. So that one has a headphone jack on the outside.
This is a very early Zenith Owl, 1955, which means it came out like 1 year after the first transistor radio was made. This belongs to Sam Ashburn. It's basically breadboard, isn't that the way you would describe it? In other words, it does not have a hand wired, yeah, it does not have a printed circuit board in that radio. So, yeah,
It says Royal 500 tubeless.
yes.
Is that tubeless?
Yeah, it's Model 500, Royal 500, and that's the A version, so it's the first one.
What do you
Rated best of the new pocket.
Do you have any idea what it might date to, Randy?
1955. It came out in the fall of 1955. Yeah.
This is the Gilligan's Island radio. It was made by Iowa. The one in the TV show was made by Packard Bell, but it's a 1964 model. This one's in gray. As Lee said, the one in the TV series was painted white. I'm not sure it was even white originally, but they put like a furniture drawer handle on the top, and they added an antenna so that it looked more obviously like a radio for the prop purposes. But that's pretty much what these are. And because it's the Gilligan's Island radio, despite the fact of it being kind of a nondescript sort of little AM/FM radio from the era, it actually commands a ridiculous price. So, you know, you would think something like this would be, what, $35, $40? Instead, it's what, Lee?
Well, I paid $150 for mine.
Yeah.
And if you have one that's actually white original, $700, $800, $900.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. The original white ones are 500 plus. I've seen this one for everything from 150 to about 300, which is just crazy, but, you know.
How did Gilligan keep those running without a Radio Shack?
Exactly.
Yes, the professor, remember?
That's right. They had the professor.
Coconut batteries?
That's right. Coconut and pineapple juice. All right, Randy, you've got a whole bunch of stuff here. Let's get this over to Randy.
Well, a couple more Zenith owls there. Those are not as, not anywhere near as, well, they're a few years later. They're the later renditions of the one that Sam brought in. The black one is the E version 500E, which came out in '59. The burgundy one, which looks very similar to the one Sam has, it's from 1957, and it's the D version. So Zenith had, you know, all kinds of different colors and styles. There are about 30 of those all total in that series. Yes, there was one that was kind of a reddish translucent thing where you could see the guts of the radio or whatever. Okay, that one, right. This is a TR1. This is a Regency TR1, which of course was the first transistor radio. It came out in 1954. It's a 4 transistor, a very poor performer. It takes a 22.5 volt battery, which fortunately you can still obtain on Amazon, and they tend to be quite valuable. That one was purchased at the Lakewood 400 Antique Mart for $45. I just about jerked the guy's arm off when he said $45. Yes. Oh yeah, yeah. I almost ran. Yeah, it has the original case and then the original earphone and everything that came with it. It was amazing finds.
Okay, this gets the award for the largest transistor radio, but no, it's not that heavy. This is a McKay Dimec, which is a Canadian radio, and the guy that sold it to me was just a radio aficionado, and he convinced me that this was the solid-state version of the R390A and was used by the CIA to listening stations and all that stuff. So I don't know if any of that is true or not, but it's a digital radio, but you just can't tune up and down the dial. You actually have to use knobs to set the megacycles and the kilocycles. And it'll go down to 5 kilocycle bandwidth. So if you want to see if somebody's transmitting between 680 and 690 on the dial, it'll do that. It has all kinds of filters and clarifiers and BFOs and sideband stuff on it. So it's a pretty sophisticated radio, and supposedly for its time, it was the most sophisticated triple conversion receiver out there, but it's probably no better than a car radio you could buy today. So. Yeah, it goes. I have to look that up. It's probably sometime in the 70s, maybe. I'll look that up. If I can find that, I'll let you know. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a Sylvania transistor. It does work if you turn the knob on the top. It does come on. It's got batteries in it on the top there. And it's just a pretty radio. Get a lot of interference in there though. It's battery operated, and it's even uses a separate little battery in there for bias, which is weird. Yeah, it's just not one voltage, it's got two different voltages. 1.5 volt batteries. Some are in series and the bias one's not. I guess on transistors, I don't understand. I've never looked at that aspect of it, but it's kind of weird. And then since it was raining cats and dogs and everybody was flooded out, and when I left my house in Cherokee County, well, it was rivers across the road going through water and everything, I bought a boat radio, and it says on it, A&W, you put it in your swimming pool. Yeah. And, here, yeah, music boat. And there's a knob in the back to take it out of there and replace the batteries. So,
One of your questions about who was the first guy who built the radio for a shower?
What was the first waterproof radio?
Waterproof.
And it was the shower.
yeah,
Yeah, it looks like
but,
a shower radio.
but instead of a shower, you could put it in your bathtub. But, you know, it might get in your way a little.
It's on a little raft, Roger, is the radio itself waterproof?
I don't believe so.
I think that's the difference with that radio was.
I'm not positive on that.
You got its own little.
I'd have to take it completely apart, but it's actually in my son's collection. But, yeah, it's,
It looks like it's water resistant.
yeah,
It's got rubber seals, there's a rubber seal behind the knobs.
yeah.
Paul, if you recall, the TR1 was in question trivia too. What was the most sought after transistor radios?
TR1.
A Grundy transistor boy, don't know why they call things boy, but they seem to quite a lot. It dates from 58, 59, yes. And it's has some similarities apparently with the Zenith, which was described earlier on. It has a printed circuit. It does work. The case is not in particularly good condition, but there it is. And it's also green. But they did come in many colors, apparently. Yeah.
It's got some heft to it too.
Oh, yeah.
I like the feel of it.
Anyway.
And I believe you've got a modern Grundy sitting there next to you.
I do a little, yes, a little shortwave thing. Yeah. I didn't want to monopolize the theme side. You guys, no, I'll keep it for another time.
This is a wind-up radio. You turn the crank,
Solar panels?
it also has a solar panel on it. So it has more than one source of power. AM, FM, of course. Ben knows more about it than I do. Comes from England, I think, but of course made in China.
Plays pretty good for being in here.
What did Ben say? What were you saying?
The key technology is the spring, where it winds the metal spring from one coil to the other, so it lasts for a long time. I mean, because it's heavy. I mean, I think it's designed as a jungle radio, so it can let it make power and stuff. But these quite heavy. Now, just, you know, they use EV instead.
So the spring is kind of like those old Victrolas where you got the two counter-rung springs. So when you wind it up,
It's wind from one spring to the other.
Yeah. It also has solar panel. So if you're a member of the Venezuela Occupation Army, this is for you.
And also it's a great way for Reed to keep up on his Beyonce habit.
I think it'll be more interesting in Africa than the other national.
All right, here is
I brought was 4 radios, so I kind of do the generational thing. So the first one, probably mid-60s transistor, it's got the box, it's got the earbud, it's got the paperwork for the warranty card and everything. So, and the original box. And then, like, in the 70s or so, I had that one. That's an AM/FM cassette stereo with a graphic equalizer. And of course, everybody knows the other one is a Sony Walkman. They were quite popular, in the 90s. Yeah, that was,
How do you program graphic equalizer?
you just got slides.
Oh, that's why you
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
move slides?
Yes.
You don't have to connect to the internet?
You. That's old school. Old school. And that's the newest. That's FM, stereo, whatever, Bluetooth, and retro radio. It'll take a micro SD card if you want to put music on it that way. It plays good.
Yours now for $5.99, right?
I think it was like only about $30, and you got a variety of colors. Who's next?
Cool. All right, Nicholas.
This is a mystery radio. I wish I knew more about it other than I got it from a guy who said, I'm moving and I don't need all these radios, take them. And I have had a bunch of projects and this has not been one of them, so it's been sitting on the workbench for about 3 months now, staring at me and taunting me, I guess. But eventually, I'll do something with it. Don't know when it was made. Don't know what it is. It doesn't have a model number on it, but it's kind of funky looking. Yeah. See, I'm learning things today. Yeah. Needs a lot of things.
Wait,
Oh yeah, super duper radio here. 90% of my life is in cardboard boxes right now in one of 2 garages, so I have no idea where my collection of old leather-cased transistor radios are. So this is the only thing I could dig out. I was disappointed to note that a GE Super Radio is actually made in China. I'm crushed by that, but it's a pretty sensitive radio. The downside is, of course, I'm trying to use it in the basement, and that's kind of like a giant Faraday cage, so it doesn't really do well in a basement. But otherwise, it plays very, very nicely. It's got more or less tone controls, high cut, low cut. Yeah, you can put external antennas on it, which I probably should do. AM, FM, yeah.
Looks like it ought to have short wave or something.
You would think, but it doesn't. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's a fairly sensitive thing. And it's got a separate woofer and tweeter, so practically hi-fi.
all right, well, I think that wraps it up, not counting the sell and tell. What'd you call it? Sell and tell? Sell and tell? Show and tell. So the next meeting is February 14. Member of the month is Jacob. This is going to be very interesting. The show and tell is going to be radios from the 70s. So it could be a tube, which I don't think they had them by that point, or solid state, or whatever, I mean, there may be some old receiver or whatever. Heathkit will probably still have some tube stuff then. So that's it. April 11th, swap meet at the Fowler Park. We'll move forward on a couple of things we talked about. Get business cards if they haven't already been passed out. I will email the files for the flyers and stuff. You all can just do whatever you want to do with those. Go from there. If you have any other questions or whatever, but then let's go ahead and turn it over to the sell and tell, and we'll see you next month.